Letter to my peers, a confession of the soul to those who will recognize their own torment in these words, dear reader. If you are reading me now, it is because something in you recognizes something in me. It is because you have felt, too, that particular wound of being alive and conscious. And it is precisely to this mutual recognition, to this consolation found in the kindred spirit, that I address this confession. I am the child of a living contradiction. Within me dwell two worlds that will never fully reconcile, that of reason which illuminates, and that of passion which consumes. I think, therefore I suffer, I feel, therefore I seek. And within this perpetual dialogue of opposing forces, I have discovered that I am not alone in being fragmented in this way. You recognize me, do you not? You too carry within you this tormenting duality. Who am I? There is the question that ceaselessly pursues me, not that of my name or genealogy, but that of my true essence. I am this thinker who loses himself in the labyrinths of his own intelligence, forever seeking answers that the universe refuses to grant with clarity. I am this being consumed by curiosity, who must understand every mechanism, every emotion, every relationship as though his salvation depends upon it. My mind is at once my sanctuary and my curse. It elevates me above the common, yet it isolates me also in heights where few know how to breathe. I was born with a certain luminosity, I have been told this, and I know it to be true. Creator, organizer, capable of seeing what others do not see, of inventing what others cannot imagine. And yet, and yet, which weighs like a stone upon the heart, this light is always accompanied by its shadow. Within me lives a destructive force, impulsive and relentless, that labors to sabotage my own creations, my relationships, my peace. Like Prometheus, I am at once the creator and the one who devours himself. I take stupid risks, I turn my weapons against my allies, I transgress my own limits through some confused desire to test the world and test my own resistance. But here is what I have come to understand through the living of this experience. You recognize these traits in yourself, and you fear, as I do, that this duality is a flaw, proof of your unworthiness. No, it is your mark of authenticity. It is evidence that you have not sold your soul for easy comfort. I am someone who seeks to be heard, truly heard. This silent cry I send out into the world, see me, understand me, feel what I feel has cost me more than you can imagine, because the world, you know this as well as I do, is filled with people who look but do not see, who listen but do not hear. They are preoccupied with things that seem to me superficial: money, position, the appearance of success. Meanwhile, I dig ever deeper, seeking substance beneath appearances, and this ceaseless search has made me vulnerable, open, wounded by repeated rejection. Yet it has also made me human in a way that few understand. I am one who thinks in systems and feels in poetry. I can dissect a complex problem with the precision of a surgeon, then find myself the next day lost in an emotion without rational foundation, submerged by a wave of intensity that admits no logical explanation. This is not weakness, my friend. This is the signature of one who lives fully, who has not armored himself against the beauty and pain of the world. I often wonder whether my self-awareness is a blessing or a curse, for to be conscious of both one's strengths and one's limits is to live in a clarity that is painful. I see my imperfections with an acuity that few can endure. I judge myself more harshly than the world ever would. And yet, in accepting this uncompromising gaze upon myself, I have discovered something. My imperfections are precisely what make me singular, what enable me to create, to feel, to understand what others cannot. I am a being in motion toward something I cannot name with certainty. I wish to grow, to learn from my failures, to transform this inner rage into creation rather than destruction. I know that I will always carry with me those parts of myself that rebel, that test boundaries, that sow chaos, but instead of denying them, I choose to acknowledge them as forces which, if I do not understand them, will destroy me, but if I accept them, if I channel them, can become the source of my greatest power. And here is why I write this. because you who read me now must know that you are not alone in this experience of being deeply, excessively, painfully conscious. You are not the only one who wishes to be understood and suffers from not being so. You are not the only one to carry within you this duality that tears you apart. There are others everywhere who recognize exactly what you speak of. And this mutual recognition, this consciousness that we can pass from hand to hand like a flame, is perhaps the only consolation worth having. I am a being in search of meaning. This search will never be finished. Of this I am now convinced, and it is precisely this that allows me to continue living, despite everything, the day I find the final answer. I will die. So I prefer to remain in uncertainty, in longing, in that creative tension between what I am and what I seek to become. If you recognize me in these words, then you know as well that life is not made for cowards. It demands courage, the courage to be true, to be contradictory, to be vulnerable while remaining strong. It demands that we accept we will never be entirely understood, and yet we can still love, create, transform. Such is who I am, an imperfect mirror, a flickering light, an eternal question. And if you have recognized yourself in these words, it is because you are too that same flickering light, that same question. And this, my friend, should be enough to reassure you.